Welcome to Turn Right Machine Works. My name is Keith, and we're getting ready to open up the toolbox and add some more tools to it today. But first off, I like to go through a few things that have been sent in, and also we're going to lead off with a project. Now this is, we call them mail call projects, but I have to laugh because it was referred to as a mail bag project from Paul Boulay. We had a project come in here, and Paul sent, he contacted me and he kind of told me what his problem is. And he has a 13-inch closing lathe, and the gear that transmits the motion from the feed screw with the key slot in it to the round gear to engage for his cross feed and everything. The key way inside the bore of the gear itself was nearly gone. And anyway, I was going to have a video, mail call video on this project, and it was going really good until I got to the end there, and I accidentally erased about 2 episodes or at least a half an hour of video of the finished work that I did on the Sheldon lathe and the small South Bend lathe. Now, there is a couple clips of actually working them in the lathe, and I used the Jacobs rubber collet to do a lot of the work. And then we did some milling work and stuff. I'm just going to flash through and give you a highlight of that job and how it looked at the end. And we're just going to include it as an entry into this video here. Here's a glimpse. Today we have another mail call, and this is from Paul Boulay in Campbell, California. Nice packing job, by the way, Paul. What we have here, Paul sent this out. He has a, I've pre-opened this, so basically what he has is a 13-inch closing lathe. And I'll give you a close shot of this. Paul's lathe is, it's seen some wear and tear, and he's reconstructing, restoring the lathe so he's got something to use. And he also has a nice breakdown here he gave me to show the components. Now what he sent me out was the gear that drives off of the feed screw, and I just didn't want to lose this little key here. He gave me as a sample, and he sent me the assembly here itself. Now, there's supposed to be a key in here because the feed rod slips through this and through the carriage assembly itself. And there's a key in here that slides back and forth on the keyway that's on the feed screw. And the key inside here, I don't know if I can, here's another close-up. Let's see if we can do this. See, the key is at 12 o'clock. Alright, I turned around so that we got the light behind us outside, and you can see what's left of that little key in there. Now that little key only goes, I think it's only a couple inches in there. Alright, that's about 29 thousandths on the width, almost 30 thousandths there. Up close to the root there, it's really tight. But, so we're trying to replace that key inside. Okay, that's about 29 thousandths wide. The original key in there was close to 3/16 of an inch. So, it's pretty worn. He sent a bearing assembly on the outside for me so that I can have something that I know that's going to be fitting, and this would be fits on both sides because it's kind of like a mirror part. And by looking at his drawing here, I've got a good picture of how this fits into the carriage. Now, we talked a little bit on the phone there about the possibility of what we can do on this. What we're going to do is, he's got to use one of these that he can procure, and for about 500 bucks or so. And it's not brand new. It's still got a little bit of wear in it. So what we're kind of doing is, and that's a backup plan on here if I can't successfully take care of something on this one here for them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up, and we're going to go in and we're going to be probably looking at the first turnings in my Sheldon lathe. My Sheldon lathe is, my Sheldon and my South Bend are both, you know, if I was out shopping for a lathe I wouldn't have picked them up. They just kind of fell into my lap. The South Bend was just a couple blocks away, and it was short $1, and you know, take it apart and carry it out and it's yours. And the Sheldon came with the shaper and a couple other things, and it was like, hey, you know, can you haul this away for $500? Yeah. Anyhow, the Sheldon lathe come with a collet chuck, which really is a Jacobs rubber collet chuck, and all the collets to go with it. It's pretty used, but it still has pretty good accuracy. Alright, first we're going to go into the Sheldon lathe there where I have a Jacobs rubber collet chuck, and we're going to be able to grab a hold of this and precision turn, and we're going to remove the rest of that little tiny key in there so we have a straight bore. Then we're going to come into the Bridgeport, and we're going to mill down a slot on each side here, and we're going to fabricate a key that will slip in and come up through the two raised areas right there, and then we're going to bond it. Now, I was going to call and order up a piece of 8620 and see how we need just a little piece. I'm going to go out there and take a saw cut straight across here, a little wider than the width that I'm actually going to be using on the material there. And then I'm going to be able to cut it twice in a lengthwise direction. And we're going to create a piece of key stock roughly to do the job, and we'll put it in the Bridgeport and we'll finish mill it to size. And we're choosing 8620 because 8620 is a very good anti-abrasion rough material. It handles other materials rubbing up against it and grit and grime and stuff like that, and that's why I chose that. I also have here a piece of 12L14, and I'm going to turn a dummy lead screw the size that I need to have. In fact, I'm going to make it a little tighter. And it's going to be the diameter of the bore, and it's going to have the key in here. And when we get ready to fit that key into it, we're going to be assembling everything together on this shaft so that the process of either silver soldering or heliarcing in the key material at those two locations, I want to have it on a firm mandrel so we can control the amount of warpage and everything else. We're going to have some. There's no way around it. We're just trying to minimize that, and that's what I'm going to do with this piece of 12L14. Also, this kind of stock right here, if that gets real tight on there, this stock presses out really friendly. It doesn't tend to want to like gall and rub materials together and stuff like that. Well, the Inco saw is still cutting fine. This is still that first blade, and I've cut quite a few things with it in here, and the coolant seems to be working real well. The suggestion of the rubber slab in front of the rollers there was a good tip, and it does work really well on taking care of the lube there. Alright, what we got here is we got a disc now that we want to go ahead and we want to cut a keyway. You know, we're going to have a width and a height depending on, but there's no way to hold this in the saw to cut it. What we're going to do is we're going to take this part, we're going to go and we're going to put two tacks on it. maybe 3 tacks on it. We're going to put 2 on this side here and 1 on this side here. We're going to make an outside cut, then we're going to shift it, we're going to make another cut, and then that's how we're going to cut a length out of this piece right here. And we're just going to cut down to this plate so that we know that we're cut through, and when we make the second cut, it'll completely release the part. Here's a look at the Jacobs rubber chuck collet assembly, and this chuck it attaches to your spindle. This one just happens to be a small D style clamp, and I have a full set of rubber collets, and of course they're in the drawer over there. But this one happens to be in the range of 7/8 to 1 inch. All right, and this is the draw for the collet to squeeze down. These are pretty well beat, just like this lathe in my salt bin. And I've rescued a few things from the scrap yard. And anyway, one of the really nice features of this, and this is the tool to use on something like this, we want to hold this thing as true as possible. And you just tap it closed, and then you lock that little ring in there, and then that holds it. And now we can spin it true. There we go. Now it's not extremely hard because this is only a high-speed boring bar here. Alright, now we're ready to go ahead and take this into the Bridgeport, and we're going to go ahead and set it up, and we're going to cut open 2 slots, one on each side of this gear, in perfect alignment with each other, so that we'll be able to fabricate a key, slip it inside, raise it out to the portion where it sticks out through the openings, and then we're going to bond it. After we bond it, then we'll be setting it up, and we'll return those diameters. Alright, now when you go to take out a Jacobs chuck, you just roll it out the other way, and it relaxes that coupling. I always like to re-engage that, so if you accidentally turn it on, it doesn't accidentally spin it free. I've actually had spin free, and then you end up dropping your collets and everything else out of there. So we got a starter drill. Actually, we're going to drill all the way through here, and at each end of our 3/16 little slots we want to put on. And here's our piece of key stock. And basically we got 2 bearing diameters here on each side of the gear. There is no other place, and we want to try to be inside the seal area over here, and it really doesn't matter over here. I'd rather not get into the, we'll stay up here close and underneath the gear where it originally was. So we're going to probably be putting it in that area right there, and the slot probably from there to there. Alright. Kind of measuring out, we got 0.243 at that side, 0.24 and a half or so, so about 2.5 thousandths taper in that saw cut. But we're going to go ahead, we just wanted to know where it was because we're going to go ahead and take a skim cut across here, and we're going to start playing with the height. But we're going to take a skim cut here, flip it over so we got machine cuts on all 4 sides. Alright, I like this. I got the key fit in here nice and snug, both slots, both ends of the key, pretty uniform. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and set it up to where we can start taking down the height, except for the 2 locations on each end that will come up through the openings there. Alright, now we're going to go get a safety file so that we can work it on the top surfaces here without filing our job, but we can file the radius right there, and we're going to work those around on each side. And we're going to go do a deburr on our mill cut here, and we're going to check the fit inside the gear. Alright, here's a safety file, and the sides here are eliminated from any cutting teeth. Now this one here is a little clogged, but I'm going to go ahead and see if I can have some success on this. Things should actually pop in there pretty good now, I think. Yep. Alright. We're going to go kiss it on the Wilton there, and then we're going to we'll get a test fit right inside here. I think we'll be able to just pop it right in there. Alright. Alright, I'm holding it up to the window there so you can see the key inside, and here's a view the other way. Now it may be just a little bit tall in there still, but we're fitting that up. Alright, there we go. Okay, we got this down to diameter now, and we're going to go ahead and part it off. But we don't have no square or nothing handy. We want to know how we can quickly go ahead and line up our parting tool. Well, first off, we want to know that, you know, we're going to be able to reach in here and part off whatever. Yeah, it looks good in that direction there. Okay, now you want to make sure it's square. Well, this is 90 to this, so you can bring your compound right in where your block steers. Doesn't rock. That means it's held up against there, straight in line. Now you can go ahead, back it off, put your parting tool on, and you're ready to go. Alright, now let's go ahead and we're going to part this off in close there. We got more than enough material here. In fact, we wanted some to come in and out. And if we need to, this has got a center in this end here. Alright, now let's go put a keyway in it. Full length keyway, 3/16, or actually 190. We're going to make it to the sample there. He gave me the dimensions there. What we have is a 3/16 key, and I think the groove is 190. So it's, you know, a couple thousandths larger or wider than the key itself. Not a race. Alright, we brought it in here, and what we did, we figured, calculated out, and our depth was supposed to be 640 here, and we're like 642, so we would be in the plus of making sure that this fit in there what the lead screw in the drawing says. You know, because we got this drawing here, and this gives us the slice or the cutaway there of what the lead screw is. Alright, so we kind of know we're on the plus there, and we are supposed to be 190, and we might be just a little bit over, but right down at the bottom we might be like right at it or a little bit under. What we're going to do now is we're going to go ahead and we're going to just massage a little bit off of each side. In fact, it almost fits in over here, but a little bit fat over here. We're going to make sure that this goes all the way down into the depth there, and then we should be able to slide this whole assembly together with the key in place. So we're just going to go massage this just a little bit till I get it to slide in here. Then we know that this will be slightly smaller than the setup that he's actually going to be installing it on. And that's what we want. We want to make sure it leaves here, fits there. Alright, didn't take much, just a little teeny tiny bit off of the sides there. In fact, actually, where are we at now? We're at 185 or 1845. 184. So we're only about 2.5, 3 thousandths under that nominal, and I like that. We got a good sliding fit. Okay, let's put this inside here, and we'll see if we can. Got that up in there. Now let's see if we can slide this through here. Well, went almost all the way in there, but yeah, we are almost all the way through there. Alright. Yeah, it's holding that out there. Now I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna be tapping. I'm gonna tap the shaft that way. Just see if we can shock those in. Well, Paul, I think we got a winner coming here, buddy. There we go. Alright, doesn't matter either way. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to figure out, at least making sure that we got those 100% in there. And well, that one feels like right at the surface. I think this is going to be a good candidate for silver soldering those in there. But I would be tempted to go ahead and heliarc that. That's two tiny welds, but you know, is this one going to create enough draw to throw this off here? That's the question. You know, now if we do put it here, and it does, we can come over here and we can put a bead on this side here and then finish it off. And yeah, I might be tempted to go ahead and let's, you know, take a little tiny spot and test test the blending of the metals there. The base metal is the one I'm worried about. I'm not worried about the 8620. And it's locked, I mean, it is locked solid in there. That's a good snug side-to-side fit, so just barely enough. You know, we're gonna give it some thought here. We almost got you squared away. Alright, we got this 2 V blocks, and this piece is just, it's floating on here, and we got the key in there. You saw them sticking up here. Now we want to make sure that we have positive push on those keys up into there, and that all the play is on the back side of this roll. And we make sure that we got the key in place as tight as we can get it. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to put a piece of aluminum here, so we don't, I mean, not that we're going to put that much force on here to really squish those teeth there, but we just don't need to be making any marks at all. And we're just going to give this just a little. Okay, and we can feel both of these are about the same distance above. Now this is going to be a little tight to get in on this one here, but we'll be able to pull this clamp off because this pressure straight down on these V blocks. Alright, so we're going to go get the heliarc. We're going to get a temp heliarc in this, and with that sticking up above there, we should be able to do a nice little small bead, and we may not even need to add any material to this. File test. Alright, still soft. Let's go ahead and just take this off here for a second. I just want to. Alright, we're still slidable. Alright, now we can go machine those two smooth with the OD. Okay, we're complete on this gear now. We're happy with it. Our slide on the shaft, our bearing fit, sliding on both ends. Alright, we're going to put this in a bag and put it back in the box here. We're going to be shipping it back to you there, Paul. Alright, well I hope I put enough together to give you a good idea of actually what it took to renew that key inside that bore. And by using the TIG and the socket and welding it in there and having that a nice snug fit, I think it's going to exceed the strength that's needed, and I don't think you're going to have to baby it too much, Paul. I think it's going to be a substantial fix, and I think it'll do the job. That piece of key was saw cut out of a piece of 8620, so it is wear style material. 8620 handles a good wear, so I think you're going to be happy with that. I didn't give you an invoice in a box there, Paul. Just put a number on the check and mail it in to me. All right, let's move on to another piece of mail here, and I just want to hit these real quick. I'm getting a lot of mail, I'm getting a lot of emails, and I love you guys for it. Thank you very much. Not that any one is more important than the other. I just happened to come up with a couple of different things here. And I'm not going to get into reading all of what he said, but this here is from Kirby Gustafson, and he was watching, you know, he wanted to contribute and donate something to the shop, and he was watching the Beaver movies and getting into the radius cut and the weld that I had to machine in there, and he went down and he picked up some flapper. He knows I got the 4.5 inch grinders. I got a couple of them in there. He went ahead, and these are radius cutters. I think these are all sealed. I'm not going to open these up right now. But they actually fit on your 7/8 arbor, and they're a full radius cup at the end there. And these are for getting in and really coming into a weld area. I'm going to give these a shot. All right. So I appreciate that, Kirby, and thank you very much for that. I will give them a test and a good run there. And if it's not just for, you know, machining a weld, of course, when you're using that, and like other people will comment, when you're grinding and filing and a lot of things on your machine, you got to cover up your ways. And if you don't cover up your ways, you stand a chance on getting grit underneath the bed of the moving carriage or the apron on the mill and so on. Most of the time you'll see that I'll lay down from end to end. If I'm going to polish something in the lathe there with even emery polish, I lay down. That's what these here, I lay them right here, and then I spread them out so that they cover up the ways, and then I can do my work, lift them off, take them outside, I shake them, and then I hang them back here or somewhere else. And sometimes when I'm running the drill press, I take these off of here, put them somewhere else, just so they don't take a chance on getting caught up in there. All right. Anyway, here's another package I received the other day, and this one is from Jeff Rosenberg. And basically, Jeff saw the Steady Rest video, and he knows, you know, through my comments and doing that video, he knows that I don't have a Steady Rest in there. And so anyway, he says that he basically had this sitting under his lathe for about 30 years, and it was evidently it was off of like a 10-inch lathe. Now I've set this on the ways of my little Sheldon, and it almost looks like a little bit of modification. It could be a Steady Rest for that. I'm undecided yet as if to what I'm going to do, whether I'm going to keep it and rework it, or go ahead and offer it and ship it out to somebody else that might be able to use it. But this is the case, and I have to chuckle because the first thing since I quit smoking over a year ago now, my nose is quite a bit more sensitive, and I probably do smell better now as well. But I can actually smell with my nose really well now. And parts cleaner or carburetor cleaner, choke cleaner, something, some cleaner in that fashion, that, you know. But that's nice. It came nice and clean. I like that. This is very, very similar to the Steady Rest that we played with, and you know, it's almost like somebody modified this side here for two flats. Now I'm not sure. In fact, now I'm learning to turn this thing around so you can actually, you know, you can see how this here was the groove clearance right here for a V on the side here. Somebody's modified that in there, I think. Unless like an Atlas or something like that might have had two flat sides. I am absolutely not sure. But it was cute, and I thank you very much for that, Jeff. Okay, last box here from Mike Tobler. He sent me a box. I just got it, I think, the day before yesterday. I think I got it, and he's hoping I have a good day. Been watching my videos. He enjoys them very much. He's picking up some tricks. I'm glad I'm picking up a lot of information by you guys putting back into feeds, and also you know, you can tell that I don't know everything, and I might be spitting out something while I'm walking the talk, and it, you know, I shoot it live, and you know, I edit, you know, I edit to where it's not boring, but I don't take out all of my mishaps as well. So I mean, you know, I am human, and I'm enjoying you guys coming back in, keeping it going down the right line, and filling in the poor areas or the lacking areas and helping the other viewers. It means a lot to me. Anyway, he's got an engine shop there in Ohio, and business isn't what it used to be, so I'm expanding the job shop type work and really enjoy it. And that's the key to making it. You got to be diversified. If you're only doing one thing and that one thing goes dead, and you can't hang on until you can recover or rebalance, you're going to fold up. It's almost like all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of overtime, and then you lift your living limit to that money coming in, and then all of a sudden the overtime goes away and you've got that brand new car, that brand new boat, or whatever. Yeah, I'm just using those as examples because, you know, I've been there, done that. You know, not to an extent where, you know, I've lost. I did have a house that I owned for about a year, and I had to, you know, get out from underneath it, and I didn't ruin my credit. It was very important, but you know, it's to have a dream and then not even be able to hold on to it for, you know, not even making it 2 years. So you know, it's smart thinking to expand and get into another job. So you know, Mike, I'm going to put some paper together. He said also maybe donating some of this to the box. I will probably open it up, and I'll go ahead and I'll roll a sample of each of the grits that you sent me, and put it in a cylinder form. And you know, I don't know how much room we're actually going to have in this box once it's full of tools, because machine tools is the main idea behind this, but it doesn't mean that we can't have a box follow this along. Also, just while we're on the subject of the giveaway, and I like it to be open to anywhere and anybody, I have been kind of just starting to look in on customs and being able to send and being able to give somebody something in another country. You know, we don't live in a free world as we think it is, and it's like a slap in the face. I am looking at it. What it's probably going to amount to is, if you're out of the United States as an entry to this competition, you're going to have to expect to pay the entrance into your country with it. I can get it to your country. I can ship it anywhere in the United States. I plan on doing that. But after that, dealing with customs and stuff like that, it is going to have a value. I mean, there's going to be a serious dough value here, and what I'm reading in there is the value of the item, whether it's a gift or not. They've got the gifting choked right down to it, and I mean, even if it's your birthday, and it's a free gift, if it's over X amount of dollars or this or that, somebody wants something for giving, you know, letting you have that in your country. It's not a free world. I don't care where you're at. I'm still looking into it. We'll see what's going on with that. But for right now, let's just continue going with our thoughts on it, and you know, and throw some input there if you want into it. If anybody else out there working in customs wants to put in some right feed, or you know, I don't care, give me a call, a telephone call, or anything else like that. I would, you know, I would like a little heads up on there. I'm going to continue looking into it. So anyway, all right, let's go. Let's get on to some things that came in for the box. All right, we got a couple things here that were sent in, donations actually to the box, and this first item here, and this came from Britain, and you know, I love the stamps that they use on there. All right, and this is a homemade tool. He made this up, and it's basically a shaft and a bearing. And let's see what he wrote me here. Hi Keith, please find the handy tool for the mill or the lathe. Thanks for adding this to the box. Regards, John Mills. You also know him as Double Boost on the channel there. And here's his site. I'm going to add a link on here for you. And he actually has a little video of this running and showing this in action. I thank you very much, John, and we're gonna put this in the box. In fact, actually, let me open up the box. And we're just going to put it up here in the top drawer for right now, John. And let's get on to the next item here. Alright, here's an edge finder set. He spoke to me via email. Enjoyed watching my videos. And he wanted to contribute to the box there. And he's a mechanical engineer, professional. I'm also very experienced in 3D modeling. That's cool. Charles Lowry, I believe. Alright, we got four-piece set in here. Looks like 200 thousandths on the diameter on that one. If I get lucky, oh, I did. I will probably, at a later time, I'm going to go ahead and I will have all. Alright, this is the cone on one end, and it looks like another 200 on that end as well. This is a teeny tiny one, 3/8 with a 200. And a straight 1/2 inch. Looks like a very nice combination of edge finders there. Alright, 4-piece edge finder set. Thank you very much, Charles. We're going to get that in there. Like I said, I am going to go ahead and lay these all out and have a nice visual of all the tools that are in the box in time here. Alright, and I think I got literature on this here. See, I'm not ready. Okay, that was Charles's email there. And alright, Roger Delamont, he went ahead and he wanted to donate to the box, and he rather than picking out something and sending it in, he actually donated $100 to my donation there to go ahead and add to the box. I plan on going through And you know, we'll look on the wish book and everything else. You know, I kind of got my eye, but there's a coaxial indicators in here, an MSC. Okay, you want to know what magazine? Okay, MSC. All right, we're kind of looking at that right there. But I promised I wasn't going to show you a magazine, so I didn't show you that magazine, and I didn't tell you about that coaxial indicator. All right. But anyway, Roger, we will put that $100 into the box as a donation with some kind of nice tool. I just haven't found it yet, or haven't even started looking for it. But you know, something like that would be really cool, and I got a month to think about that. So, and that's not bad. About $150 for a coaxial indicator seems to be a pretty good price. Excuse me. All right, now we're going to come to George Carenzo, Pennsylvania, and he wanted to contribute to the box as well, and he's appreciative of my time, my skill, and showing tricks to trade, and you know, he's enjoying my videos, and I appreciate that very much. He's renewed his interest as a machinist, and I've noticed that in a lot of my emails and stuff, and the guy's going, "Hey, you got me off the couch, and I put down my beer and my potato chip bag, and I'm back out in the shop," and I'm glad to hear that. I'm also glad to see a lot of people that are, you know, hey, you know, you might be laid off, and you might be sitting around, and you know, I mean, you're gonna get bummed, and hey, everybody gets bummed. But you got a machine in your own shop, and you know, there's a trend that actually you could be making some money for yourself right out of your own home. You have the talents, and if you have the machines, or you get the machines and you learn the talent, you can pick up some bucks. All right. Anyhow, George here went ahead and picked out a 6-inch digital caliper. All right, and Carrera, and I believe that's. Now we'll give you a kind of a close up here. All right, now I'm not. This is going to be somewhat like that other thing. I'm not gonna pull this out of the plastic. All right, and you can see, and I have a couple of digitals hanging around, and one thing that's nice about the digitals is you can do the quick push back and forth for your millimeters to your inches. All right, so here is another item that actually goes into the box that can get somewhat millimeter or American Standard or SAE increments with one tool. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and stick those in here, and I'm really getting busy as well. It's just today I have a giant 3-inch shaft sitting on the floor here that has to be turned from end to end, and we're talking about almost well, it's almost as long as the lathe bed here. I have some mechanical tubings that we're going to do some line boring on. I have some bronze struts and castings that I got to set up and start milling on. Another casting job from another supplier up on the, I got the items over there, and they're going to be completely faced off. They use the big shell mill and stuff. And I have a couple shafts that need to be straightened and one to be manufactured. And tomorrow I was supposed to go down and start on the duck boat, and it looks like I'm going to be going down possibly the following day. So I'm kind of kicking things around here. I had to order up some tool bits and another one of those square inserts, and we're going to be making a boring bar. And we're also going to be using a cradle setup here. I have a pair of these, and these bolt onto the lathe, and we're actually going to be holding the mechanical tubing in the cradles, and the bar is going to go through the lathe, and we're going to be boring out the mechanical tubes right in the lathe. And so, you know, there's a lot of things coming up, and I wish I wouldn't have lost some of that footage there on the on that gear job. But still, all in all, I'm sure from the flash of the videos there, you got to see that. And it looks like we're good on the box for another week or so. And we'll open it back up on the next visit, and we'll add something else to it. Alright, the last thing I want to cover before we close up the box here is entries. And I've got one qualifying entry. And this qualifying entry is from Joseph Lorenzen. Here it is on the screen. I hope I spelt it right. Alright, now it starts out here. I'm not going to read through the whole thing because I want you to log on to this site and you can check it out for yourself. But basically this says, I would like to nominate an organization rather than an individual. Now this organization that he's nominating is West Texas Hope Retraining Center. And you can log in and you can find out why or what this center is all about. And I think it is it's a worthy nominee. And there's an individual. I mean, you know, we got it's got veterans, and you got a lot of displaced people in the world. And I think there's a little validity in this being a worthy contestant, and I'm going to throw it in there. Now, you need to write your nominee, or you nominate yourself in the comment section in the video, which Joseph did, and he gave me an email. Okay, and that's the next thing. I need to have a tangible thing that I can have the information so that I can find out about you. I can make a judgment call, or I can have somebody else peek on there, or somebody else can log on and be able to find out what you're about and make some comments on it. That's what this whole thing is, to find somebody that's worthy or judge the worthiness of the person. And you need to get the email into yougotmybox@gmail.com. Go ahead and label it like Joseph did, what's in your box. Makes a real nice title on the email as well. But you know, he's nominating the organization rather than an individual. I thought that was kind of unique. Here's somebody that's not, you know, he's not thinking about himself, even though, you know, I don't, you know, you gotta think a little bit about yourself, otherwise your workmanship expectations are not going to be right up there on the top. So you have to have a little bit of selfness, you know, a pride. You got it's pride, and that's okay. Anyhow, I got one. We need some more. All right, let's close up the box here. Until next week, or next time, get her done.